Hey, it's me. Today, we're going to be baking a pound cake from scratch. And I just love when a recipe is simple and easy and only has a few ingredients. So this recipe is very simple. It only has 5 ingredients, and we're going to be making it in 2 different sizes today. We're going to make a small loaf pan size and also a bundt cake size. I like to begin by preheating my oven to 350 degrees. And for the smaller loaf pan, you are going to want to use a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan. And we're going to want to grease and flour that loaf pan. You can use cooking spray if you would like to, but I just like to use butter or shortening, and then a little bit of flour to coat the bottom and the sides of the pan. For this recipe, you will need 1 pound of butter, so that's where the name comes from. 1 pound of butter, 1 cup of sugar, 4 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now this recipe can easily be doubled if you wanted to make a double batch for the larger pan that we're going to be making today. So for the larger pan, I have a 10-inch bundt cake pan. Again, we're going to want to grease and flour this. This one was really sticking, so I used some cooking spray. I think next time I may try just using whole butter, because it was really hard to get this one out of the pan. So if you have any tips on how to get these cakes out of the pan, please let me know in the comments below. Now we can begin to cream together our butter and our sugar. So we're going to want to cream this together until it is light and fluffy. Now I like to use my stand mixer with the paddle attachment, but you could certainly use a hand mixer if you wanted to, or even mix this together by hand. So once our butter and sugar have been creamed together, we're going to want to beat in our eggs one at a time. So we'll add in the first egg, make sure that it's fully incorporated, and then add in our second egg and third egg, beating on low speed after each addition, just to prevent everything from splattering. And then once all 3 eggs have been added, we're going to want to add in our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then we can begin to slowly add in our flour, mixing on low speed after each addition, just to make sure that everything is fully incorporated and not just kind of stuck to the sides of the bowl. We don't want any dry pockets of flour. We want everything to be nice and smooth and creamy. Once all of our flour has been added, we are going to want to continue to mix this on low speed for about 1 minute, just to make sure that everything is fully combined, and then we can pour our batter into our prepared pans. For the smaller loaf pan, I am using about 2/3 of the batter that I had in this larger bowl. So I'm just using a little less than half of the batter for the smaller loaf pan. You could always just cut this in half if you wanted to. You could even make 2 small loaf pans, or you could make a bunch of cupcakes with this recipe. The possibilities are endless. Now we can spread the batter evenly in both of our pans, and then we can bake. Now for the smaller loaf pan, we're going to bake this in the preheated 350-degree oven for about 50 to 60 minutes. And for the bundt cake pan, we're going to bake this in the preheated 350-degree oven for about 60 to 70 minutes. Now you will want to test both of these cakes for doneness using either a toothpick or a wooden skewer. Insert that into the center of the cake. If it comes out clean, that means that your cake is done baking. While the cakes are baking, I like to make my glaze. So for the glaze, we're going to need 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and 3 tablespoons of milk. Now I like to sift together my powdered sugar and then slowly add in my milk while continuously whisking. You don't want any lumps in your glaze, so you want to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. And then once your powdered sugar and milk have been whisked together, you can set this aside until we're ready to use it. Once your cakes have finished baking, you're going to want to take them out of the oven and then let them cool in the pan for about 10 minutes before inverting them onto a wire rack to cool completely. I say about 10 minutes because you do want to try to invert your cake while it is still really hot and fresh out of the oven. You want to let it cool down just a little bit so that the cake can kind of set up a little bit more, and then it'll be easier to invert. But I went ahead and inverted both of these cakes onto the wire rack to cool completely. And here's an important tip. Do not throw away that glaze. You will want to save that glaze to drizzle on top of your cooled cakes. Go ahead and drizzle that glaze on top. And since this cake has so much butter in it, it really adds that rich, buttery flavor, and the glaze just takes it to the next level. This cake is so moist, it is so delicious, and it is so easy to make. I love this recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give this recipe a try. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite pound cake recipe is. I'd love to try some new ones. Now I want to give a huge shout out to all of my supporters. Thank you guys so much for supporting me in this channel. I really appreciate it, and I wouldn't be where I am today without all of you. So thank you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and then click this video on screen now for some additional baking and cooking ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.